focus on hitting your goals in every area of your business. Remember, the universe rewards the bold. A leader has to take the risks.
To the Wealth on the Beach podcast. My name is Daniel Alonzo, and again, I'm bringing you one more episode with some of the greatest, most successful minds on the planet. Excited to be here with the incredible Thach Nguyen. He's a CEO and founder of the Thach Real Estate Group and principal of Springboard to Wealth. He is not only a seasoned realtor, investor, coach, author, and speaker, but also a proud ambassador of the American Dream. We're going to talk about that. What an amazing story this guy has. During his 27 years in the real estate industry, he's built more than 300 homes and completed over 100 flips. Thach and his team have assisted more than 1,500 families to create their own American dream of home ownership, ranking him amongst the top 1% of all real estate professionals worldwide. Hey, Thach, man, thank you so much for being here with me. This is awesome, dude. I'm excited.
Glad to be here, brother. Glad to be here. Let's go make a difference today. Let's do this.
That's it, man. Hey, so what does it feel like, man, to, go from refugee to the American dream?
Well, of course, I'm 50 years old now, and I've been on this journey for over 30 years. I started real estate, in 1991. So you ask me today, I will say to you, man, it's a blessing, but it's a blessing in a bigger picture because it's an opportunity for me today to inspire other people, to let them see that if I can do it, they can do it also. That's like a big picture for me. You know what I mean? Now, of course, the side benefit is, having the wealth, having all the opportunity, the resources. But I think the bigger picture is, my vision, Daniel, is to inspire and empower billions of people to reach for their goals and dreams and see that anything is possible through my own vision and through my own daily life. And so, starting with, me being an example for my own kids. I got a 14-year-old and I got a 12, right? So, whatever I eat, they eat. Whatever I do, they do. Whatever I think, they think, right? And so I want to make sure that whatever I do and who I'm being out there, that my kids can actually, follow that footstep. And then, of course, when I take it outside of there, then I, meet, you, and I meet all the other people out there in the world. And I want to make sure whatever I'm doing, that I can actually say that, if people want to copy that, they're going to live a good life from that.
Well, you are setting an amazing example. I follow you on your social media. You're just killing it right now, and you're inspiring the masses, man. And you're really making a difference. I want you to know that. I want to go back though and kind of really investigate where you came from, man. So give me the early days. Okay, where were you born? What did your parents do? Tell me a little bit about the early days of Thach.
Yep. So I was born in Vietnam in 1970. And in 1975, I was about 5 years old. My dad worked for the U.S. military. He got word that the communists had taken over South Vietnam. And so his boss basically told him, hey, man, go get your family, come out, leave with us, on the plane to get out to go to the U.S. So my dad basically called home and told my mom, hey, I'm coming home, get you guys, pack up, and we're leaving the country. So my dad came and picked us up, and we had one suitcase, $100 for 8 of us. And we got to the airport, and we left on the last plane with his boss. And we landed in San Diego, lived in the Camp Pennington, right? They use that as the shelter for the homeless, all the refugee. Lived there for about a month and a half, 2 months. And then we got shipped up to Washington State, lived in another homeless shelter up there for about a month or so. And then we got sponsored by a gentleman named Charles Zettler to come live with him. And we lived with him for about a year and a half. And then in 77, we got our own little rental house up in near Seattle where we live now. 2-bedroom, 1-bath house for 8 of us. And that's how I started, man.
Wow. So you're saying, okay, so your dad worked for the military.
Yep.
right? And he brought you guys all back to San Diego, and then there was 8 of you guys. So
Right.
how many brothers? So you have 6
I
brothers
got
and
4
sisters?
brothers. I got 4
brothers?
brothers and 1 sister.
1 sister. Okay. All right. And so what was it like growing up in a house, in a small house, I'm assuming, with 8 people? What's that like, man?
Well, first of all, man, if anybody ever been in a shelter, living in a 2-bedroom house is definitely a palace compared to living in a shelter.
Okay. All right.
And that's how we should always look at life in perspective, right? Even though with this coronavirus, you know what I mean, right? You look at things in perspective, right? That this shall pass also. You know what I mean? Living in a 2-bedroom, 1 bath in perspective is still better than the shelter. That's not being positive. That's just looking at things in perspective.
I love it. I love it. And so what were you a good kid growing up? I mean, did you get good grades? Were you
It's funny you say that because, when I was younger, I always like to have, stuff just like any other kids, right? But my mom and dad was poor, you know what I mean? So when I was growing up, and I was, I think I was only like maybe in elementary school, right? I used to always go on a bus. I'm surprised my mom and dad let me go. I used to go on this bus, and they will take these people, whoever want to go out in the suburb where all the strawberry fields are at. And I go out there and I pick strawberry all day long, on the weekend. And then I come back, I save money, and I built my little bicycle out of it. You know what I mean? I had to save enough money to buy me a frame and then some wheel and then some tire and then a handlebar. And I put it together. And that was my early career. I was making my own money and building my own bike, just like I do it today with cars. You know what I mean? But when I was coming up, I was a good kid. I had 2 paper routes, and my dad used to always, on the weekend drive me. I had 2 paper route going, and I always been like a natural, entrepreneur. And I know that my other brother wasn't the same, but I remember when I got into high school, I was doing well my freshman year, sophomore year, and then of course I started hanging out with friends, because in high school, it's very easy to get influenced. And my sophomore and senior year, I started hanging out with, friends that like to, to go, parties, and drink. And in my senior year, man, I was a good kid, but I was hanging out with the wrong people that I wouldn't do and be focused on schoolwork. So by the time I graduated from high school, I graduated with a 2.83 GPA. So thank God, social media wasn't out back then because I remember a few people said to me, man, with that GPA, you're not going to go very far in life, which is true. Right. You know what I mean? But there's also another side to that, which is not true, because whatever happened in the past did not dictate the future.
Hallelujah. And so are you pretty strict with your kids, though, about grades and things like that? Are you a pretty strict father?
I am. All right. I am strict with them on doing their homework, doing their grade, but I'm not strict on how they want to proceed life in the future. Right? I'm not going to say it to them, just like most Asian, you got to be a doctor, you got to be a nurse, right? You got to be this. I tell them, do what make you happy, do what inspire you, and everything else is going to follow.
And so do you believe that they need to go to college to become successful?
I don't believe so, but I'm going to encourage them to do that, right? Between me and you, they already say that they want to do real estate.
Okay.
And they grow up. So I'm not going to stop them from getting good grades. I'm not going to stop them from, graduating with, as best as they can on GP. They straight A student right now anyways, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not because they're smart, because, they have structure and they got to do it, right? But when they go to college, I'm going to have them go to college, right? But for some reason, right, if they decide not to go to college, you know what I mean? For some reason, I'm not going to beat them down. Right? Because maybe they inspired, you know what I mean? Like when I went to college, I went to a community college, and I went to fix aviation airplane. I had nothing to do with real estate, but I got out, and my passion was talking to people, being in sales, being an entrepreneur. Well, fixing airplane got nothing to do with any of that stuff. Right? And so of course, as my kid grow older, I'm going to observe your traits and their strength. You see what I mean? And I'm going to ride on those.
and find out what they're passionate about and what they want to do, and then push them towards that, whatever that is, right?
That's right. That's right.
I love it. You're a great father, man. Really, really good stuff, man. And so when you think about, after high school and then going into college, how did you transition into real estate and becoming an entrepreneur?
Well, I graduated from college in 1991 with my aviation, fixing airplane, everything. I really didn't have the passion for it. And that's why I want to highlight to young people and people out there, that's even older adults. Find the path, the thing that you like to do that actually bring you inspiration. Don't worry about the money. If you find the passion will help you create money out of that. Because you look at the lady who wrote the book, Harry Potter. She was just a teacher, found passion in writing books for kids. Right? When you can find passion, you can turn anything into opportunities, okay? So for me, I graduated in 91. I didn't have the passion. I was parking car at a Chinese restaurant. And one of my friends, her name was Linda. She was the daughter of the Chinese restaurant owner. She was just studying her real estate license. And I was like, what are you studying? She said, I'm studying for my real estate license. And I said, oh, okay. And then she said, hey, you should do it also. Because you got a good mouthpiece. I think you do well at it. And the next thing I knew, I went to study my real estate license with Linda. And we both graduated and got our license. And then that's how my real estate journey started. Luckily I went door knocked a real estate office. It's a very known office in Seattle, good brand. Wouldn't have been real estate, and I met the manager, the broker. He was good. I was the youngest agent ever hired in real estate in Washington, 21 years old. And I remember the manager said, how are you going to benefit me in 21 years old when the average agent is like 30 years old, and 34, 35 or something like that? And I said, hey, listen, man, I heard that in real estate, when I sell something, right, you don't pay me, I give you a % of my check. So my dad is a social worker. He know a lot of people, a lot of Asian people in the community. So I don't think you got nothing to lose hiring me if I sell a lot of houses. And he actually told me a year later, that's why he hired me, because he felt that this guy, actually have the ambition behind it. And I think, again, for people listening, it's the energy behind us that really speaks louder than the words come out of our mouth.
And so sometimes people don't realize that it's the physiology. It's how you move. It's how sometimes you got to walk a little faster, talk a little faster, and also make commitments to people that can help you. One of the things I think that happened to you is that you put yourself in a good environment. You put yourself in an environment where somebody was successful, where you could learn from them. And then what you did is you sold yourself to that person. It's interesting because I look at my journey and I found a mentor, a very, very successful mentor. And I told him, I said, I want to know what you know, and I'm willing to be coachable. I'm willing to follow the system. I'm willing to follow the process. Teach me. Is that kind of what you did in a way?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. When I got my license, my first 3 years selling real estate, I was just sitting around the office and I didn't really know a structure or a system to really just go at it. And then I met this guy named Mike Ferry, who's a real estate coach out of Newport Beach, and he coached a lot of top agents. And he had a structure. And the structure for me was know my scripts and dialogue. Number two is he says, either if you want business, either you can go after the business or you can wait for the business. The problem if you wait for the business, it's very hard to duplicate it and predict it. If you go out there and talk to people, you talk to so many people, right? On the law average, you're gonna get business. If your skill gets better, your law average is gonna get up better. And so I went and memorized my script, all my objection, just so I know what to say. Then after that, then I went out every morning from 9 o'clock. I door knocked 100 doors a day, 5 days a week for 10 years straight. In the rain, the snow, you name it, in Seattle, 100 doors a day, 5 hours a day, 5 days a week for 10 years straight. In 1994, my journey. I started in 1994 and I did it for 10 years straight. And I started selling 10 homes a year, 15 homes a year, 20 homes a year, 30 homes a year, 40. And when I got to 10 year, in my peak of door knocking, I was selling like, 10, 15 homes a month.
Wow.
Just from
Wow.
door knocking
Wow.
people. Yeah.
I mean, you were selling in 1 month what some people were doing in an entire year,
That's
if
right.
that even,
That's
right?
Because the reason why, because they're sitting and wait for the business to come,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because, here's the thing about business. There's two group of people you know and people you don't know. The people you know, the group is much smaller. So, of course, you work the people you know, but then you got to go out there and spend a lot of time working with people you don't know so you can get more business so you can add it to the people you know. And at one point, if you ever want to stop and you got enough people that you do know, you can still do good business.
Oh, I love it. I love it, man. And so you're talking at, you now have, because not only were you great in selling real estate for the company, but then eventually you ventured off on your own.
That's
How
right.
was that transition, and was that scary for you?
Yeah. So when I started real estate, I was 21 years old. When I started door knocking, and I met Mike Ferry, I was 24 years old. In 3 years of door knocking, every day, $100 a day, I became a millionaire at the age of 27. I was making like $1 million a year selling real estate, which is unheard of, right? But what happened was I met a mentor, and the mentor said to me, hey, if you want to be rich, keep selling real estate. And rich is trading your time in for money. But you can really never get off the treadmill, because when the moment you get off the treadmill, the money stops, right? And you could really never have the option down the road to work when you want to work, where you want to work. We call that wealth. He said, you want to own wealth, you got to own real estate. So take the money you make and start buying rental property, because you want to buy property that gives you cash flow. So later on, right, you can trade your money for time. And basically that's what I did. So in 1997, I bought my first rental house. And then from there, every time I made enough money, I just buy more property. So I bought 15 property, and I was still living in my mom and dad's house.
Wow.
I had enough money to go buy my own house, but in the Asian culture, we're open to living at my mom and dad's house, right? So I just stayed there, and me and my wife Camie, let's stay there. We save our money up, and we buy 15 rental property, and so we can get ourselves set before we go buy our own personal house.
And so having 15 rental properties, I mean, how much would somebody make if you have 15 rental properties? What type of cash flow were you, like real cash flow were you bringing in?
Yep. So back then, my mentor said to me, right, when he just started teaching me, he said, and this is for everyone to listen, he asked me this question: at what age do you want to have the option to work or not to work? And we call that getting out of the rat race. So he said to me, if everything was free and clear, how much money would you like to have coming in every month to live a very comfortable life, right? You don't have to worry about it. And then, you just live comfortably. And at that time, when I met him, I was 24, right? And I said to him, hey, if I had $25,000 a month, if everything was free and clear, I had 25 grand a month, right? I would live very comfortably. Now that does not give you a private jet, but that's basically, nobody have 25,000 a month in a living expense. And if you did, you live in very comfortable, right? And so based on the rent, the average rent in Seattle back then, I needed 15 houses to be bought and paid off. So what I did was I went and made enough money, and I put a down payment on the first house, which is like usually 10, 20% down. House back then was only like about $110,000. So I had to put down like $10,000, $15,000. And what I did was every time I had enough $10,000, $15,000, I buy one, then I buy another one, and I buy another one. So when I got to 15, I stopped buying. Then I started making enough money, more money, and I started paying down the first house I bought, and I just started snowball effect, pay down the second house, third house. So basically, by the time I was like, when I started in 1997, about probably 15 years later, I had those property paid off. That was my first benchmark to get the first 15 bought and paid off. And from there, I'm out of the rat race. Now I'm working for the fun of working. And then today, I still keep buying more today.
So you're telling me that you were 40 years old, you had 15 properties bought and paid off, and you had cash flow. So what kind of cash flow was that bringing in at that time?
25 grand a month.
25 grand a month. Yep. You were free and clear. You never had to work again at that point in your life.
That's right.
Now, I just hope if you're listening to this right now, all right, everybody that's listening to this.
And anybody can do this too.
Anybody can do this. That's not that complicated, what he just explained. It was just a system.
And that's single family home too, folks. That's just basic.
Right.
We're not even talking about big apartment building, a commercial building that I own.
It's huge. It's huge. I mean, $25,000 a month. I mean, you know, people got to understand. Look, at the end of the day, it's cash flow, right? I mean, people have to start understanding that bringing in passive residual income into your life is what creating wealth is all about. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And I'm going to put it in perspective, okay? If everyone listening, if you really just look at what does it cost you to live right now, right? The house you live in, right? And I would bet you most people probably 15 grand, okay? And that's comfortably. Now I want people to realize, okay, based on the rent, like Seattle now, it's $3,000 a month average for rent for a house. If I want a $15,000 a month, all I need is 5 houses free and clear today. So you don't even need that many houses, folks. If you really look at in perspective, if you can get out of the rat race, you can replace your 10, 15 grand a month with 3, 4, 5 houses, right? You can literally be out of the rat race. And then now you're living good. And that's not even complicated. That's a simple model. You know, everybody out there that all these gurus are talking about, you know, go big, go home. I'm saying keep it simple, folks. If you want to go big later after you get out of the rat race, go for it.
But start first, get out of the rat race. That way you're free. I'm telling you, I mean, this is huge. Thank you so much for that little piece of info. Now, I mean, as far as, you know, when you think about like what inspires you to get to that next level, you know, what is it that, like, why do you keep working? Because obviously you bring in more than $100,000 a month in passive income. You're financially free. You do what you want to do whenever you want to do it. What drives you? You're 50 years old, man. Why are you working so hard, dude?
That's right. So, you know, when I was younger, when I got my first, you know, 25,000, of course, you get a taste of what I call freedom, option, and choice. The freedom to do what you want to do, when you want to do it. The option is travel where you want to travel, stay where you want to stay, drive what you want to drive. You know what I mean? Eat where you want to eat. And you get a taste of that, right? And it's great. And of course, when I was younger, you want to have more experience of that. And as I get more experience, that's what drove me. But now when you ask me today, when I'm 50 years old, I think it's great to have all that. But today, what drives me today is growth. I love what Tony Robbins says. A long time ago when I met Tony, he says, live a life of Camie. And Camie is C-A-N-I. It's that for constant, never-ending improvement. C-A-N-I. Constant and never-ending improvement. Live a life of Camie, meaning always growing, always learning, right? And for me, right, I love learning. I love growing. I go work out every day. I'm 50 years old. I keep, you know, like right now my goal is to actually get leaner, right? To get more healthier, right? And in business, right? It's not, I don't really do it for the money anymore. I just do it for the challenge. I love finding deals, right? And for a lot of you guys know out there, right? I still go out there and I door knock to stranger houses and ask them if they want to sell their property. But I go after houses that are beat up and tired. I like to buy them. So I door knock 3-4 days a week, 3-4 hours a day still today. And I do that because I love the growth. I love the challenge. Right? I love getting out there, but I also do it to inspire other people. If this guy who got 100 grand a month and is wealthy can go out there and door knock, what's stopping everyone else doing it?
Oh, I love it. I love it, man. And I think what it has to do too, Thach, is the fact that like at one point in time, right? I mean, you know, you get bored of doing nothing.
That's right.
I mean, there's only so many days you can go on vacation.
That's it.
And at one point in time, you're like, you know what? I want to make progress. I think that's why people are so unhappy in the United States. I mean, you have, you drive into LA and any major city, and everybody's pissed off because they're in traffic. They're flipping people off. They're screaming. Road rage is an actual thing, right? And I think it's because people are sick and tired of living the mundane, boring, same old life over and over and over again. And I think progress is what equals happiness. How do you feel about that?
I totally agree, man. Again, if everyone just listen to this, live the life of Camie, live a life of constant, never improvement. But before you live the life of Camie, make sure you guys listen. When I say to you, dream big meaning go out there and do what inspires you. If you always want to be a fitness coach, go out there and be a fitness coach. You want to be a real estate agent, go out there and be a real estate. But go do something that you are inspired. Because the first thing, if you do something inspired, now you're not living the mundane life anymore. And whatever you do that inspire you, live a life of Camie. Live a life that you're always constant, ever improving, meaning always learning, always searching how to grow, how to be better. You know what I mean? How to be smart, how to be more, how to thrive more, how to be more aligned versus more of a grind. Right? Live a life like that. Always make yourself better, more efficient, more effective. Like for me, I'm constantly always fine tuning. How can I actually be more efficient, more effective in my personal life, in my business life, right? And that's what I constantly do all the time. Like even with this coronavirus thing, I'm asking myself, right? What am I learning from this? How can I be more creative right now? So when this ends, I'm so much farther ahead compared to everybody else who's waiting for this to end. And they're still stuck in the past. And my brain already thinking right now, how can I be more creative right now working from home? How can I be more creative selling things, right? Where I know how to see people. Because in the future, this is going to be the norm. People are buying and selling without seeing nobody.
That's it. Oh, it's happening all on Zoom. It's crazy how many sales we're writing, how many recruits we're bringing in, how many things are happening right now, all like because of modern technology. It's phenomenal. Okay, so one question I have for you is, what are some of the mistakes that you made, man? I mean, let's dive in that little area for a quick second.
Yes. All right. I'll tell you 3 mistakes I made, okay, growing up. Number 1. I wish someone would have told me that when I got into real estate or just sale, I wish someone would have told me that selling real estate is just a vehicle to make money so I can pay for my day-to-day lifestyle and an opportunity to use that money to invest in cash flow property. Back then, when I got into real estate, everybody was like, man, selling real estate is great. You want to sell a lot of houses, you can be number 1. The problem being number 1 is you make $1, spend $1. You make $1, spend $1, and you really have nothing left over. So if you're not in real estate, folks, okay, if you work 9 to 5 or you're in some kind of entrepreneur business, I want you to know if you're an entrepreneur, anything, everything we do out there, folks, is just a vehicle to make money to pay the daily bill. But that same vehicle, you guys can take that money and invest it into cash flow property. I got a lot of Vietnamese people, and in Southern California that own basic stuff like Vietnamese sandwich store. And these guys make so much money out of those damn Vietnamese sandwich store. But you guys know what they do? They don't go spend it like stupid. They take that money and they buy a lot of real estate with it. Okay? So number 1, I wish someone would have told me that my real estate business is a vehicle to finance my lifestyle and to finance cash flow property, okay? Number 2, I wish someone would have told me, man, right, that buying real estate, okay? Buying real estate to buy real estate is stupid. Buying real estate as a fix-up property, buy when there's more tired, beat up, fix those property so that you can actually build better equity and have better cash flow, right? Instantly. Back then, I was buying property already nicely done, and I didn't have built-in equity, and the cash flow was tough. So I always needed to have a lot of money to buy, because it doesn't cash flow when you buy already nice, right? And then I think the third thing, I wish someone would have told me back then, if you own property, folks, if you don't get them paid down or paid off, you still have a liability. Like right now, with this coronavirus, I'm having a lot of tenants call me and say, Thach, I just lost my job, or I ain't got no money. I don't know if I can make payment next month. If you have property that are free and clear, right? Now, this is a really bad example of a coronavirus, but if the market ever change and tenants are leaving, you got to have those property free and clear so you have some peace of mind. In 2008, I didn't have a lot of property free and clear because I bought so much more. But today, I'm going to tell people, if you own rental property, that's why I have a strategy. Figure out how many doors you need to accumulate those first. Let's call 5. After you get 5, don't buy no more, and then start paying them down first to get out of the rat race. I wish someone would have told me that early on, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't have made the big mistake I did. But today, those are the 3 biggest mistakes I made after this whole thing about finances and peace of mind and lifestyle, right? Is, do that, okay? Make it.
I just think that what you're saying is so right on, because I mean, there's so many real estate agents that their main focus is to go buy a new car.
That's right.
And everybody laughed at me, Thach. I think the reason why I relate to you so much is I'm really, and why I'm inspired by you is because a lot of your decisions were the same as mine growing up. At 21, I got into business and I saved my money. I lived broke. I was driving at $300,000 a year in income, I was driving a $10,000 maximum.
Right.
And everybody told me to buy bigger houses. Everybody told me to spend more money and buy nicer cars. And I said, no, I'm just trying to invest and save and grow my passive income so I can be free.
That's right.
And by the time I was 28, we had $500,000 coming in passive income without getting out of bed.
Beautiful.
And that was my dream came true. But I warn everybody out there that when you start making a lot of money, now this is a crazy time we're talking about right now because things are going down. People are losing their jobs left and right now. People are getting laid off. It is a very tragic time right now. But just like that said, this too shall pass.
Yep. And
when this thing turns around in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, when this whole thing turns around, where are you going to be? Are you going to be smarter? Are you going to be wiser? Are you going to be ahead in making money?
Right.
It's all going to be determined on your work ethic right now. So what kind of advice would you give somebody right now, Thach, that are, they're sitting in their home? We're basically quarantined right now. I mean, in a way, we're all quarantined.
That's right.
What advice would you give these people, man?
That's a good question. Right now, I want to tell you this. With every breakdown, breakthrough is around the corner. With every contrast, there is clarity around the corner. Okay? Every contrast, there's always clarity around the corner. Every time it's dark, raining, there's always sunshine around the corner. So during these times, folks, you got to take and slow down. I think this is a blessing in disguise, because I think this blessing is to help everybody in the world to learn how to slow down, downshift their life a minute, and take the opportunity to sit down, start pondering, what do I want to do in my life, right? Start writing down, right? In the next 5 years from now, right? I have a thing here. I have a goal, right? My vision letter. Right? In the next 5 years, where do you see your life in the next 5 years? Right? In your physical life, your career, your family, your health, your relationship. Where do you see your life in the next 5 years? Start looking out 5 years. The problem why people are depressed because they're looking in the present moment. Right? Recognize the present moment. Learn from the present moment. Right? But now, as you're sitting at home and you have plenty of time to ponder and think, this is like vacation. This is like another form of vacation, folks. Start looking. where do I want to be in the next 5 years? Stand in, right, 2025 and write a letter back to yourself and describing how amazing you have for the last 5 years. And start writing out, because the minds, the universe and the mind, they don't know the difference. So you can stand from December 31st, 2025 and write a letter back to yourself and describe the last 5 years of your life. And I promise you, you guys can sit and write it and see it, smell it, touch it. You will start living your life today as of it already is. And that's a
powerful, man. Oh my God, so powerful. What did he say right now? He said every time there's a breakdown, there's a breakthrough.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's part of it.
I mean, it's a part of it. Every time, look, even if you look at the stock market, right? Every time the market goes down, it goes back up. I mean, even right now, it goes down, it goes back up. It goes down, it goes back up. Now, there are people right now, believe it or not, in the stock market, which is where I trade a lot. But I mean, think about it. There are people that are making money every time the stock market goes down and it goes back up. It goes down, it goes back up. They buy and trade, and I'm not telling people to do that. I'm just saying that every time something goes down, something goes up.
That's right.
So we have to capitalize. I just call it, we have to capitalize from the adversity.
That's
when
right.
things are bad, how do we create good out of that bad? And that's, to me, that's what makes life worth living. If everything was perfect forever, right, I don't think life would be as fun. I don't think life would be as adventurous.
You learn from falling down, folks. You learn from making mistakes. And that's why my wife is really, really hard on the kid, because when they make mistakes, she wants the kid to make mistakes. That's the only way they learn.
Love that, man. Hey, we're going to kind of wind down here. I got a couple of last questions for you, Thach. This is powerful stuff, man. What's your favorite book? Do you have a favorite book or anything like that?
Of course, right here. These are their cards, right? But they got a book. Ask and it is given.
Oh, love it.
Okay, by Abraham Hicks. Okay,
love it.
And these are reading cards, right? And I'm just gonna shuffle one up just for the hell of it. I am a physical extension of source energy. All of us are physical energy of source energy. Remember that, okay? So stop resisting and go with the flow.
Love it, love it, love it. Good stuff, man. I'm gonna get that. That's great. So you could just get that on Amazon or something, and it comes with all the little cards in there like that. So every day you can just shuffle through and pull one out and read it, and boom, get your day going just like that.
There's a book there. There's a book. Get the book. It's really good.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. How about a favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I would probably say the first thing that came to my mind is Titanic.
Okay.
Right?
How come? Why?
I think when I watched that movie, it just really remind all of us, you know what I mean, that anything is possible.
Cool, man. How about favorite food?
Sushi.
All right. So when we hang out one of these days, I'm gonna take you to sushi, okay, buddy?
Come on, baby.
Promise
Let's
you,
go.
man. Promise you. And how about ice cream or cake? What do you prefer?
Ice cream.
Ice cream. All right. Okay, and last question, man, because there's a lot of people right now. I mean, you're killing it on social media. I mean, you're just on fire. How do you have the time? Do you have somebody that helps you with putting together all these videos? How do you create the time to get all these videos produced all the time?
Yeah, so I have a friend of mine in Loren. Would you see him with me, right? So 20, 30 hours a week, right? He do the video. So basically we come up with the content. Every time I come up with the content, every time I'm inspired, right? I write down on my phone, right? I have a little log sheet of all the inspiration things I want to talk about, and I make a little note. And then when I'm with Lorenz, like this, on Monday, we shot like 10 videos.
Oh,
right?
Gotcha.
We shot, all my videos are usually about 1 to 2 minute long the most.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened is that we shoot sometimes 5 or 10 videos in like 2 days. and he take those videos, and then there's an offshore somewhere that they can actually do all the capturing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, he get them all ready, and then every day he just drop one.
That's awesome, man. Very, very cool. And I mean, I just think it's important that people see that, because they don't realize that, you know, you have somebody helping you do that stuff, you know, it's important. But if somebody's kind of new to social media right now, would you advise them to really start like branding themselves and start creating some sort of online presence? Why is that so important that people do that?
I would. You don't need a Lorenz right away.
Right.
Okay. I think that you can get more people listening if you do your story in your Facebook, right? And the key here, what I realized from mistake again, break down, create clarity, right? Most people, you know, on social media, Facebook or Instagram, they talk a lot about things that are not even relevant to what their brand is. So if you're in real estate like me, you should spend 70% talking about real estate, and the other 30% spend time talking about, you know, lifestyle. Okay, but I don't think it's smart that you're out there and you are recording yourself at a club drinking and downing, you know what I mean, a thing, because that doesn't look good to your brand. Now, unless you are bigger, you have a real estate brand and a personal brand. For me, that's who I am, is both. I am the same person, real estate and doing personal out. So I just kept it simple as my one Instagram account. That's just who I am. And in there, if every day my lifestyle is I spend time working in the morning, right? That's why they see me. It's almost like a daily vlog. I work out in the morning, I meditate, I work, and after that, I spend time after work, you know, coaching my kid baseball. That's just part of my whole brand. Now, there's a lot of things I put on there that people don't let me see.
Right, right. Of course. I mean, but I think what you're saying is right on. And I'm telling people this all the time. I mean, you know, stop putting stupid crap on your social media, because it's making you look bad. Right. And don't just copy everything everybody else is doing.
Right.
You have to come up with your own brand, your own way of saying things, and you're also your beliefs and opinions. I think it is important that people hear what you truly believe, because it doesn't mean we all have to like you. Because some people might not like me, but they love you, or somebody might not like you, but they love me. So, but the truth is that we just have to be authentic. We have to be ourselves, but also try to, you know, at least for your brand's sake, make sure it's professional, as professional as possible.
Yeah. Remember, guys, do what inspires you. Okay. Number 2, be real and be transparent on what you do. Okay, if you're in real estate, for example, right? All right, be you in real estate. Be transparent in real estate, right? And share more 70% of real estate stuff and 30% lifestyle. And then you pick and choose the lifestyle you want to post. That way, when people think of real estate, they think of you.
Awesome, man. Hey, Thach, man, this has been incredible. Honestly, man, this is like one of my favorite podcasts so far. I've done like, I don't know, almost 80 of them or something like that. It is so much fun to meet people like you that are inspiring the world and really making a difference. And I can't wait to meet you in person, man. I just have a feeling me and you are going to be very good friends. You're an awesome, incredible guy. Hey, look, man, we want to get to know you, man. I know you have a coaching program, but we want to get to know you. Tell us about your coaching program. Tell us about how to get in touch with you if we want to learn from you, especially in the real estate area.
If you guys want to learn about investing, just go to Springboard to Wealth, T-O, Springboard to T-O, wealth.com, okay? And then you guys want to follow me on my personal self, just go to my Instagram account at Thach Nguyen, my name, and Facebook is the same thing, Thach Nguyen. And I post a lot of stuff on Instagram. You guys can check that out, okay?
Good, man. Well, I just want everybody to know that this guy is the real deal. I've checked him out, researched him. He's a total stud. if you have questions about real estate, if you have questions about investing, you have questions about motivation, or just try to get yourself to a better place mentally, this guy is the real deal. Reach out, have a conversation with him. I guarantee you he'll answer your DM. Hey, Thach, again, thank you so much, man. I want everybody to remember to dream bigger than ever, but make sure that you do it now. God bless you.
All right, you guys have an awesome day. Peace.